Posting frequency is dropping in importance, meaning it is absolutely made very, very clear again by the platforms that it is quality over quantity. We've said this before, but I don't know that this has properly sunk in with people because I'm still seeing people thinking that if I'm not getting the attention of my audience, I just need to post more in order to get it. And it couldn't be further from the truth. Hey there, and welcome to the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. If you're wanting social media updates, tips, and tricks, and you want to keep ahead of the trends, you are in the right place, my friend. My name is Sam Hind, and I'm here to keep you informed, but also help you to use strategies on social media that move the needle without taking over your life. Today, I want to share with you some of the latest updates, changes in the algorithm on both Facebook and Instagram, and a couple of surprising things that you're going to need to know if you want to be successful going into 2026 with your social media strategy. So let's dive on in. I've got lots I want to get through. Grab your pen and paper and let's get stuck in. Okay, so as we move into this year, and I did, as I always do, some research into what are some of the latest trends that are going to be relevant and impact my listeners. I had a lot to sift through because a lot has changed over the last 12 to 18 months. Some of those things we've been talking about through the year, and we've been giving you some actionable strategies to help you with those. But others are changes that I think we've had the writing on the wall for a long time, but many people, probably most, are not adapting fast enough to these. So today, I hope that in the spirit of you keeping up to date with what's going on, rather than you feeling overwhelmed by everything I'm about to share with you, I'd love for you to just take a couple of things from this and ask yourself, what's going to be my 2 millimeter or 1 degree shift right now from this? What's one thing that makes sense that I can action from here? You may want to come back and listen to this episode a couple of times, but I'm going to keep this short and sharp and help make this really easy for you to utilize in your business. So let's start off by talking about how we get seen by more people. Now, I've had a lot of people asking me, what are the changes with the algorithm and why is my content being seen by less people recently? Now, the answer to that could be lots of things, but what I do want to share with you is how ranking is happening right now on both Facebook and Instagram. And ranking is essentially how they make the decision of what to show who and when. Now, remember that the algorithm is a program operating essentially in the background of every social media platform. In fact, many of the websites you use and even your TV streaming services have their own algorithm. But an algorithm's job essentially is to learn everything it can about you and me and use that information to deliver us content that we want to see with the intention of keeping us on the platform for longer and more frequently. So to do that, it's also filtering all of the content that's being put out there and deciding who to show it to. It's not in Facebook or Instagram's best interest to show you something just because somebody puts it out there or they're paying the platform to do it, if it's going to have you walking away and going, oh, I'm just not interested in this platform anymore. I'm going to go do something else. So we do have, simply paying for posts is not going to help you at all. In fact, if you haven't figured out how to get the attention of your audience for free, paying for it is just going to exasperate that pain. So let's talk a little bit about how they're ranking content right now. And one of the things that is the number one signal for ranking on both Facebook and Instagram is actually really interesting. We've been talking about this for a long time, is private sharing, also known as dark social. You might have heard me talking about this before. Now, in the past, people shared content based on, shared content to their feed. So if I liked something I saw, I'd share it. It would appear on my main feed. But gone are those days. People are now sharing things privately through Messenger, through chat, through direct message, through even other sources like text and email. They're no longer sharing things directly to their main Facebook feed. And so what this means is that there's been a big shift with the platforms in recognizing that this is how people are using the platforms now. So if you've got content that people are sharing privately, it is going to rank not just the content, but all of your content higher. Over time, that is a snowball effect. Now, this then begs the question, what are you doing? What are you posting that people are going to want to share? And if all you ever post, dun dun dun, is sales, then I'm sorry, but that's not really shareable. Very few people are likely to share something that is you constantly selling or broadcasting your own message that simply is about what you want. So that then leads to, we need to start thinking more about providing value, providing entertainment, having conversations that people want us to have. And I'm going to get to that very shortly. So that's number one. The second thing is this: conversation loops. Ranking is also based on the conversation depth, which is now being tracked across both apps. So no longer is it just get comments on your post, it is about the comments on the comments and the loop that happens with those conversations. Now, there are multiple benefits to this, but let's just explain what a loop is. A loop is where you put your post out there, someone comments, you comment back, maybe you ask another question, they respond, then you go to a DM and you have a private conversation with them, and then eventually you loop back and you have another conversation with them down the track. So it's not just post and walk away. There is actually a relationship building process that takes place from that post. Now, here's the thing. Why this really matters is that the platforms are marking people who create conversation loops as high trust, high relationship creators. And this is magic. This is where the power comes in, because remember what Facebook and Instagram are for. They're for connecting people. And when the platforms see that people are not just creating great content, but they're creating great connection that's meaningful, that's what they want more of, because that draws people back into the platform to come back for more. So conversation loops are very powerful. So one of the things that we talk a lot about inside of our trainings is not just the post you put out there, not just the content that's front facing, but what happens behind the scenes. Because you also want to be turning that content into conversions. But how do you do that if you're never doing reach outs, if you're never connecting, if you're never interacting? So having those conversations and showing up in your business in more ways than just that front-facing piece of content, really, really valuable. And it absolutely will give you the edge in 2026 when it comes to content ranking. Okay, so here's another thing that is absolutely strategically critically important, and that is narrowing down the focus of the conversations you're having. So what are the topics, what are the red threads that are going to be throughout your content, and narrowing that down? Here's why this matters so much. There is a new AI-powered interest mapping system where both Facebook and Instagram are now looking at not just the big interest, the obvious interest that people have, where you tell the platform what you want to see more of and what you like, but your micro signals, your micro interests. So the platforms are now looking at more than just what you're telling it. It's also looking at your behavior. Now, we've always known that, but let's just stop and think about this for a little second. It's also looking at things like your images and the things in the background of your images. That person's got a lot of house plants. That person is often got a child on their hip. That person has got a dog. That person is often at the beach or the water. What is that person wearing? It's also identifying even things as basic as clothing types and brands, and using all of this information to work out what your micro interests are, not just your obvious big interests as well. The other thing that it's looking at is keywords. Now, we keep harping on about the importance of keywords, and they're in fact more important now, I would put it out there, than hashtags. Because a keyword is any word that continues to come up throughout your content. If you constantly use a keyword over and over again, probably even accidentally, the platform is still going to pick up on that, and it's going to deliver you more content based on your use of that keyword. So here's where it comes in from a marketing perspective. if you, the person creating the content, is creating content using conversations, interests, and keywords that you know your dream customer is likely to be interested in, then the platform is more likely to show your content to those people. So here is the, I guess, secret sauce here, the tip I'm going to give you when it comes to this new AI powered interest mapping system. And that is to have a red thread. Now, the red thread might just be one red thread, but don't be tempted to have more than, I would say, 3 would be probably the sweet spot. And the red thread is the common conversation and the interest that you filter through your content. So for me, the obvious red thread is social media tips and strategies. But then also I have a red thread that is business and family life. So, what are the red threads that are going through your content that people know they come to you for? Like when I look at Sam's content, I know I'm either going to get a laugh at her family life and business life, or I'm going to get some social media strategies. So, what's the red thread? What are the conversations that people come to you for? Do they come to you to be entertained? Do they come to you because you give amazing wisdom in a particular area that they're interested in? Do they come to you because you have particular conversations in a particular way that interest them? So get really clear about what your 1 to 3 common red threads are, conversations that go throughout your content. Don't be tempted to talk about everything and anything just because it happens to be trending at the time or someone else has seen success in it. That is not a good business strategy when it comes to social media. It's about who your audience is, what your why and your passion is, and showing up with a consistent message over and over and over again. You're not just teaching your audience, you're also teaching that algorithm so that it is delivering your content to more of your people. All right. Let's talk now a little bit about Reels. Reels, we know, have absolutely taken over, and absolutely no question about it. You need to have this as part of your social media strategy moving forward. Whatever platform you're on, if you're not doing short form video, you are missing a big opportunity here. Find a way to do it. I've done lots of episodes. We've done lots of trainings on really easy ways to do Reels, even if you have no technical skills. But what I want to talk about today is how they're ranking Reels, how they're deciding what Reels are popular. And therefore, don't forget, if your Reels do well, so does your other content, because it's looking at everything that you do. The really interesting thing here is I get a lot of people saying to me, "Oh, Sam, I'm doing really well with my short form video because I've got like hundreds of thousands of people that look at my content or hundreds of thousands of views." Now, forget views, all right? Views don't matter because a view is microseconds. I scroll slower than a view is counted. In other words, in the time that I scroll past a video that I never watch, Facebook and Instagram are both ticking a box to say that that person got a view from me. I didn't watch your video and I didn't pay any attention to it. So what really matters? Well, to get it ranked well, here is the order in which they're looking at things from. Watch time is the number one decider of the popularity of a short form video, of any video really for that matter. Remembering as well that Facebook has now put up their increased their length of videos to, I think it's 20 minutes. That is always changing, but it's basically, it's stretched right out because every video that goes on Facebook now, as of the time of this podcast, is now put up as a reel, all of them. That's all that there is. So on Instagram, that length of time that a reel can go for now is up to 3 minutes. So that again is extending out. So watch time is the first thing. They're wanting to know how long are people watching your videos for. The second thing that comes very closely in second to that is rewatch time. So it goes to show that doing a reel that creates that curiosity and intrigue and is kind of quick and loopy is a really great strategy because it has people watching it over and over again to see what they missed or to recatch it, or just it was short enough that they can keep rewatching. So I think what we're going to find is, although there is going to be a place for the longer video throughout the year of 26, I think we're going to find that those short loopy videos are a really powerful strategy when you hook people in with something that builds that curiosity and intrigue. So watch time and rewatch time are the two top deciders there for ranking. The third thing is shares, which we've already talked about. The fourth thing is saves, and we're going to talk about that shortly. Then comes comments, and then comes likes. So having someone like your post or your reel, having somebody simply view it doesn't really help with that ranking. You really want to get that watch time up, and that is a really great place to be focusing on. Now, I'm not going to spend very long on this one because I've harped on this so much, and I think this kind of we've probably all got the message here with this one by now. But again, the platforms are reiterating this over and over and over again, and that is authentic outshines polished. Stop focusing on getting it perfect. In fact, stop over editing your content. The platforms are now also showing signs that they are in some cases down ranking over edited content. So, in other words, you've got a better chance of success if you've done less editing, which is probably great news for most of you, because if you're anything like me, you don't have time for spending oodles of time on editing videos and images and making things perfect. So, just goes to show, just getting it out there has got its own power. It's more authentic, it's more real, it's more human, it's more real, more relatable, and it'll be more successful. Okay. Now, we talked about saving. So here's my next tip, and that is that savability also matters for ranking into 2026. So we're also seeing more tools coming into play where people can save content quickly and easily. And so the platforms are also paying attention to what people are saving. And what are they going to save? They're going to save things that are worth returning to. So you might want to think about incorporating into your strategy some savable pieces of content. Things like lists, templates, tips, how-tos, swipe files, tutorials. Don't make this mistake style posts. Even, I did one recently where I shared my top 5 favorite books, and I did it really quickly and easily in 30 seconds. And I got a ton of saves because people wanted to come back to that and potentially purchase some of those books or check them out for themselves. But maybe in that moment, they didn't have time to look at it. So just simple little things like that, even checklists. All of these are easy to do. They can be done with video. They can be done with standard posts. But savability really matters going into 2026. Now, here's one that might surprise you a little bit, but I'm sure is going to lift a great big weight off your shoulders all at the same time. And that is posting frequency is dropping in importance, meaning it is absolutely being made very, very clear again by the platforms that it is quality over quantity. We've said this before, but I don't know that this is properly sunk in with people, because I'm still seeing people thinking that if I'm not getting the attention of my audience, I just need to post more in order to get it. And it couldn't be further from the truth. So it's not about posting more. In fact, Instagram have made several posts and several statements stating they're going to stop penalizing people, I should say, for not showing up very often if those people are posting good quality content, because they understand that social media has to fit in with your lifestyle as well. So they don't want people to be rewarded just for showing up 10 times a day. In fact, they want to switch it all around and reward people for good content that people actually want to consume. So that brings back the fact that you can take a great big deep breath right now and stop thinking about, oh my gosh, I have to do 1, 2, or 3 posts a day. In fact, they've said that the sweet spot right now is really in that 3 to 5 post bracket a week. So if all you have to do is come up with 3 to 5 quality posts that are of interest to your target audience that are going to help you grow your business, then it takes a lot of weight off. So less is definitely, definitely more when it comes to your social media posting. And remember, 3 to 4 great posts is going to outperform 7 rush posts every single day of the week. Okay, just as we finish up, I'm also going to remind you that within Facebook group and communities are definitely getting a major, major boost and focus into 2026. I think we're going to see a lot of shifts and a lot of changes coming into the new year when it comes to groups and communities. It was probably just 18 months ago now that we had a lot of people thinking groups were dying. Groups were dead. That was kind of the headline everywhere. Well, I was in the background saying, no, they're not. You watch what happens. Facebook is revitalizing their groups. They're refreshing everything. They're rebuilding this because they know how important community and connection truly is. And we're seeing evidence of that now. In fact, the algorithm is favoring conversations that are starting inside of groups that are really great at getting those meaningful conversations going, meaningful comments, interactions, back and forth discussions. So, and even groups that are really great at taking conversations within the group and moving them into messenger chats. So remember that community is going to be a really big part of your social media strategy. And there are so many ways you can incorporate community cleverly into your business, right from lead generation through to retention and nurturing as well. So groups are still gold. Definitely use them to build trust and to nurture for sure. Now, the last thing that I'm going to finish off on here, because this has been a real rapid fire quick session here, is that original content ranking is absolutely, original content is ranking higher and will continue to rank higher into 2026 and beyond. Again, I've harped on this so many times, but Meta is rolling out a huge update suppressing content that is reposted, suppressing stolen content, suppressing watermarked content. I've been talking about this for years. If you are watermarking your content, I highly suggest that you stop doing it, because not only people not paying attention, but now the platforms are suppressing that content as well. Copied text posts are also being suppressed, and AI-generated posts that have no human input. So remember, the priority is this: videos created by you, photos that you take, captions that you write, content that contains original audio and human first stories. Not only are the platforms prioritizing it, but guess what else? Your audience is going to respond better to it. It is a better strategy in business. It will get you a better result in the long run. So, like I said, this is a lot of information for you to take into the new year. I wanted to arm you with some tools. You may want to come back and re-listen to this, but the most important thing is this: take one thing from this episode and implement it. Try it, test it, play with it. Remember, it's not about getting it all right. It's not about doing all the things. It's about every day trying something new. Your 1 degree shift or your 2 millimeter shift each day. You can move mountains if you just do it a bite at a time. So that's it from me today. If you've loved this episode, don't forget to share it with a friend. And of course, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming episodes. Thanks again so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you here again next week. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. If you love listening and you found that this was helpful for your direct selling business, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out the recommended video that's popped up on your screen right here. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.